Within the classified corridors of government archives, a trove of enigmatic documents unveils a world of mysteries and unimaginable revelations. But these are some bizarre CIA secrets. Have you ever heard about those CIA documents that disclose the craziest and the most bone-chilling secrets? Well, get ready to have your mind blown. We're about to expose what the CIA doesn't want you to know. Let's get started. For decades, the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, has played a vital role in safeguarding the United States against foreign and domestic threats. However, its methods and motives have yet to escape scrutiny and criticism. Declassified documents, often revealing unethical and illegal conduct, have fueled public skepticism. This exploration delves into some of the most shocking revelations from classified archives, shedding light on the CIA's involvement in bizarre plots and morally reprehensible actions. The CIA's historical involvement in orchestrating assassinations and targeted killings is laid bare in declassified documents, commonly referred to as the family jewels. This collection contains a detailed account of the agency's engagement in numerous assassination plots during the Cold War. Fidel Castro, Cuba's former dictator, took center stage as a prime target for the CIA's covert operations. The unveiled documents revealed outlandish plans, including schemes involving poisoned cigars, toxic toothbrushes, and even the consideration of an artificial lightning weapon. These revelations starkly depict the extreme measures the CIA was willing to undertake in its pursuit of eliminating perceived threats, contributing to the agency's enduring reputation in the realm of covert operations. Launched in the 1950s and 1960s to counter perceived Soviet mind control efforts, MKUltra was a research initiative led by chemist Sidney Gottlieb. Its methods were nothing short of nightmarish, utilizing drugs, physical violence, and electroshock torture to manipulate and reshape the human mind. The project's sinister nature remains a stark reminder of the ethical boundaries crossed in pursuing national security. The revelations surrounding MKUltra underscore the complex interplay between intelligence operations and the moral consequences that linger in the annals of the CIA's history. The MKUltra experiments, marked by their unethical nature, cast a wide net across American institutions, infiltrating universities, prisons, and hospitals. Subjects, oblivious and devoid of consent, became unwitting recipients of mind-altering substances like LSD, methamphetamine, heroin, and MDMA. The fallout was profound, inflicting severe physical and mental damage upon those subjected to the experiments. Infamous individuals such as James Whitey Bulger and Theodore Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber, asserted that they were victims of MKUltra, prompting speculation about the project's potential influence and their subsequent criminal endeavors. The legacy of MKUltra stands as a stark reminder of the dark consequences when ethical boundaries are ignored in the pursuit of clandestine objectives. Frank Olson, a CIA scientist, tragically became entwined in the MKUltra saga. Secretly administered LSD by Gottlieb, Olson's subsequent suicide fueled suspicions of potential foul play. Speculation arises, suggesting that Olson, privy to CIA secrets, might have been an unwitting subject in MKUltra experiments, testing the drug's efficacy in extracting information. The truth surrounding Olson's demise remains elusive, shrouded in the covert operations of the CIA. The agency's acknowledgement of its involvement in Olson's death, evident through a wrongful death settlement, adds a haunting layer to the already dark legacy of MKUltra. Olson's story is a poignant reminder of the ethical complexities and human toll embedded in covert government experiments. MKUltra, concluding in the early 1970s, terminated due to both an absence of concrete outcomes and shifts in CIA leadership. Sidney Gottlieb's endeavor to erase project records was largely successful, yet scattered documents persisted within CIA archives, becoming fodder for later inquiries. Despite the reprehensible acts committed under MKUltra, accountability remained elusive for those involved, including Gottlieb himself. This absence of repercussions is a disquieting legacy, casting a shadow over the troubling chapter in the CIA's history. The project's demise may have silenced its operations, but the unresolved questions and unaddressed injustices continue to echo through the corridors of historical inquiry. A 2004 report, released under the Bush administration and later with fewer redactions during the Obama administration, exposed a disturbing list of abuses towards prisoners in CIA custody. The agency's use of illegal torture techniques, known as enhanced interrogation, sparked widespread concern and condemnation. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, became a vital component of the international effort to counter extremist threats that were aimed at the US and its allies following the terrorist attacks of 9/11. The organization was essential in obtaining information that would stop such assaults in the future. In the realm of controversial CIA practices, the revelation of waterboarding emerged as an alarming episode. This method, entailing simulated drowning through the pouring of water over a captive's covered mouth, ignited fierce debates on its ethical and legal standing. Despite arguments attempting to justify its use, the international community overwhelmingly viewed waterboarding as a transparent form of torture. The visceral nature of this technique added fuel to concerns about human rights violations, prompting scrutiny and condemnation on both ethical and legal grounds. The legacy of waterboarding remains a stark reminder of the delicate balance between security measures and adherence to fundamental principles of morality and justice within the intelligence community. Within the CIA's repertoire of unethical methods, waterboarding was just a glimpse into the harrowing treatment faced by prisoners. Beyond this infamous technique, individuals were subjected to a spectrum of abuses, threats involving firearms and power tools, coupled with mock executions aimed to instill fear and compliance. Sleep deprivation and exposure to freezing temperatures were employed to break down mental resistance. The report underscored the prevalence of psychological torture, notably in Middle East operations, where agents threatened prisoners with harm to their family members. This disturbing array of tactics paints a grim picture of the methods employed by CIA agents during a tumultuous period in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. The revolution of abuses by the CIA sparked a wave of condemnation, provoking intense reactions at home and abroad. President Barack Obama seized upon these disclosures strategically, placing the closure of the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center at the forefront of his political agenda. Despite the widespread public outcry and Obama's assurances of accountability, the absence of legal consequences for those involved in the documented actions has become a source of contention. The apparent lack of repercussions raises significant questions about accountability within the intelligence community, creating a nuanced dialogue around the delicate balance between national security imperatives and ethical standards. The public's demand for accountability resonates with concerns about intelligence agencies' transparency and ethical conduct, particularly in the context of post-9/11 actions. The exposed abuses catalyzed discussions on the limits of permissible activities in pursuing national security objectives. The gap between public expectations for justice and the realities of legal consequences for implicated individuals underscores the complexity of navigating the intersection between security imperatives and ethical considerations. In the absence of legal repercussions, there is an ongoing challenge to establish a framework that ensures accountability without compromising national security. The delicate balance between safeguarding the nation and upholding ethical standards remains a persistent issue, requiring careful consideration and open dialogue. The legacy of the exposed abuses continues to influence discussions on the role of intelligence agencies and the measures necessary to prevent future transgressions, emphasizing the importance of ongoing scrutiny and oversight in pursuing a just and secure society. In 1992, a veil of secrecy surrounding the JFK administration was lifted with the declassification of documents that brought Operation Northwoods to public attention. This revelation exposed one of the CIA's most notorious plans, conceived in 1962 and presented to President Kennedy. Operation Northwoods unfolded as a covert effort to fabricate reasons for initiating a war with Cuba, employing the sinister tactic of staging false flag attacks. The primary objective of Operation Northwoods was clear: to create defensible grievances against Cuba, providing a pretext for military intervention. The documents laid out a chilling array of proposed actions, including bombings, assassinations, and sabotage, signaling the agency's readiness to contemplate extreme measures in pursuit of its strategic objectives. The project reflected a dark chapter in CIA history, showcasing the agency's willingness to navigate ethically treacherous terrain to achieve geopolitical goals. The unveiling of Operation Northwoods shed light on certain intelligence operations' covert and Machiavellian nature. The willingness to manipulate public sentiment and manufacture threats for political ends raised profound questions about the ethical boundaries of intelligence agencies. The fact that such a plan was even proposed and considered at the highest levels of government underscored the complexities and moral ambiguities inherent in pursuing national interests. Operation Northwoods is a stark reminder of the lengths to which intelligence agencies may pursue their objectives. While the plan was ultimately rejected by President Kennedy, its existence and the willingness to entertain such tactics have left an indelible mark on the historical perception of the CIA. The declassification of these documents in 1992 provided insight into a specific moment in history and invited contemplation on the broader implications of covert operations and the delicate balance between national security and ethical considerations. Operation Northwoods, a chilling chapter in the CIA's history, unfolded a web of deceptive tactics aimed at justifying military intervention against Cuba. In meticulous detail, the declassified documents exposed a sinister plan that involved sinking Cuban refugee ships, orchestrating fake riots, and orchestrating the destruction of a U.S. ship near Cuban waters. One of the most alarming aspects of Operation Northwoods was the proposed sinking of Cuban refugee ships. The plan suggested that the CIA would stage such sinkings, blaming them on the Cuban government to manufacture public outrage and garner support for military action. This callous manipulation of human tragedy highlighted the lengths to which the agency was willing to go to create a pretext for war. In addition to orchestrating staged events, the plan included a deceptive strategy involving the destruction of a U.S. ship near Cuban waters. The documents outlined the idea of remotely destroying a plane, making it appear as if non-existent crew had fallen victim to Cuban aggression. The plan further detailed a fake evacuation, complete with U.S. fighters and the publication of false casualty lists in the newspapers. This elaborate ruse aimed to manipulate public perception, portraying the U.S. as a victim and Cuba as the aggressor. The document shed light on the extent of the CIA's willingness to manipulate information and events to serve its strategic goals. Staging the destruction of aircraft was another facet of the plan, demonstrating a calculated effort to create a narrative that justified military action against Cuba. This revelation sparked concerns about intelligence agencies, ethical boundaries, and the potential consequences of unchecked power. Operation Northwoods remains a stark reminder of the length some entities are willing to go for geopolitical objectives. While President Kennedy ultimately vetoed the plan, its existence raises questions about the ethical considerations within intelligence operations and the need for oversight to prevent such deceptive tactics from being employed. As Operation Northwoods gained approval from the Joint Chiefs of Staff during the JFK administration, it faced a pivotal moment when President Kennedy exercised his veto power. Kennedy's decision halted the controversial plan and deepened the tensions between the president and the military intelligence establishment. President Kennedy's rejection of Operation Northwoods marked a shift in his approach, suggesting a more conciliatory stance towards Cuba. The operation, designed to fabricate grievances against Cuba and justify military intervention, clashed with Kennedy's vision and principles. The president's decision underscored a commitment to a diplomatic resolution rather than resorting to covert and aggressive measures. The fallout from Kennedy's veto had significant implications for his relationship with the intelligence community and military leaders. The rejection of Operation Northwoods hinted at a divergence in ideologies and strategies between the president and the hawkish elements within the military intelligence establishment. Kennedy's unwillingness to endorse a plan that involved false flag attacks and deception reflected a nuanced understanding of international relations. The subsequent assassination of President Kennedy in 1963 added a layer of complexity to the narrative. Conspiracy theories and speculations emerged, suggesting that the strained relationship between Kennedy and the intelligence community might have played a vital role in the tragic events in Dallas. While there's no conclusive evidence linking Kennedy's rejection of Operation Northwoods to his assassination, the circumstances surrounding the veto fueled ongoing debates and investigations. Kennedy's assassination further intensified public scrutiny of the relationship between the president and the intelligence community. The lack of transparency and unanswered questions surrounding the events leading up to that fateful day contributed to a broader narrative of suspicion and distrust. The enduring mystery of Kennedy's assassination has fueled conspiracy theories and inquiries into the potential motives and actors involved. Despite the controversies surrounding CIA practices, the agency continues operating under a veil of secrecy, raising eyebrows about transparency and accountability. The absence of legal consequences for past actions leaves a lingering sense of unease within the intelligence community. As the CIA grapples with the intricate landscape of national security, questions persist about how lessons from historical mistakes have been internalized. The ongoing operations of the CIA prompt reflections on whether a genuine commitment to transparency and ethical practices will shape its future endeavors. The agency's historical involvement in controversial activities, such as the use of enhanced interrogation techniques and Operation Northwoods, underscores the delicate balance between safeguarding national interests and upholding moral standards. The public and the international community observe closely, hopeful that the CIA has evolved and learned from its past. The litmus test for the agency lies in its potential to strike a balance between the imperative to protect the nation and the moral imperative to adhere to legal and ethical norms. The shadows cast by historical missteps pose a challenge for the CIA as it seeks to build trust and demonstrate a commitment to operating within the bounds of law and morality in an ever-evolving geopolitical landscape. The unfolding chapters of the CIA's future will determine whether it can navigate these challenges and emerge as an institution prioritizing accountability and transparency in pursuing national security objectives. Share your thoughts and remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more terrifying stories.